Hey everybody, I am out on the Oak Creek Industrial Lead, which is known as the Creal Branch, C-R-E-A-L. I have no idea why they call it the Creal Branch or where that name came from, if it's an acronym for something, maybe has something to do with the industry that this branch was built to serve, which is the California Portland Cement Company. And I know that in one of my other videos, I can't remember which one it was, but I was talking about this branch and I said that it was 7.2 miles long. I don't know where I got that figure. I was in error. It's actually about 9 miles long, and it was built by Cal Portland Cement in 1955. And the plant didn't actually open and begin production until this line was completed. And I don't know, I couldn't find any definitive information on whether Cal Portland paid a contractor to build this branch or whether they paid Southern Pacific Railroad to build it. I don't know, doesn't really matter. But if you know, put it in the comments below or send me an email. But anyway, as long as I've worked here and as much as I've worked in this area, I've never been any further than Holt Road. Holt Road is just about a mile west of the Mojave Yard, where this line terminates at the eastern end. And I never had any reason to come out here. This is a non-signaled branch. It only runs one train out here to serve this one industry. Nothing else has ever been built out here other than wind parks, but they don't serve the wind parks with trains. But anyway, I thought it would be an interesting little jaunt to come up here and check it out. Said it's not a very long branch. There's not much on it, but nevertheless, part of the railroad history. And you know how much I love history. Well, here we are, BNSF going north towards Tehachapi. Scooting on by in the background, but this is the Y that leads into the Mojave Yard. And I know that there was a Y here originally back in the steam days to turn locomotives around. I don't know if this was that Y. It's in about the right place, but anyway, it connects to the yard over there, and then to the yard tracks over there, and then this way is the Creal Branch. It is looking compass west. There's a train. Oh, it looks like the Creal's actually coming in. Huh. Wish I'd have been up there earlier to get a shot of him, but maybe another day. But anyway, let's see if we can zoom in on him. He's way out there still. Yeah, there he is. Boy, it's really hard to see on the screen the way the lighting is, but anyway, he's way the heck out there still. But anyway, that is Creal Branch, and we will move on up to the only protected crossing on this branch line. And this is Holt Road. It is the only protected crossing on the Creal Branch. It used to be crossbucks until 1993 when I was the Palmdale gang foreman. We came out here, we installed this crossing, cantilevers, gates, flashers, and the whole 9 yards, all the bells and whistles. There are some crossings further out that are not paved. I don't know how many. We'll find out when we get up there, but I know that this is the only protected crossing. The rest of them up there just have stop signs or crossbucks, I imagine. We got the Creal actually coming in right now. He may come up here and stop short. Looks like a pretty short train. He may fit between here and the yard. I don't know. We'll see. I'm not even sure what the speed limit is on this track. I think it's 10 or 15 miles an hour. I know that it was 10 miles an hour when we put it in because we did the measuring for it, but they've upgraded the crossing since then. They put a GCP 3000 in here. When I was on the gang, we just had directional sticks, and he just came onto this circuit, but it doesn't look like he's probably gonna pull up there and stop. This crossing he's still pulling up here slowly, but anyway, and he is coming on through. Down into Mojave. About the Y is about a half a mile from right here. Like I said, it's a relatively short train. Just like magic. Actually, there's no magic to it. We know exactly what we're doing. Make that stuff work. But anyway, that is looking west up the Creal. And we will move on up the way. All right. Moved up about a mile west of Holt Road. A little more than that maybe. This is where the tracks start going into the wind parks. Out here, as you can see, these are the modern wind turbines. These are massive pieces of machinery. I don't know how tall they are. You know, I'm not very good at judging such things. I just know that it takes 2 flat cars to load one of those turbine blades. And they unload them down in Mojave. I've watched them unload them with cranes before, and they're a lot bigger when you're close up to them than they look from here, as most things are. And I wanted to get this vantage point to have a shot of the turbines and the high voltage lines, even though they have nothing to do with each other. I don't believe they're tied together anywhere. And these lines, if I'm not mistaken, terminate Los Angeles and begin at Hoover Dam at Lake Mead. And they are, I've not seen anywhere where they're actually tied into the substations. In these wind parks, there are actually quite a few substations. I don't know exactly how many. But anyway, this is where they head up into the wind parks. And as you can see, this is actually kind of a significant climb. I've never looked at the track profile for this, so I don't know what the grade is, but it looks like at least 1%. And that doesn't sound like a lot to most people, but to a big old train, it is a lot. Actually, the trains that are coming out here are empty, so it's not that much work for them to get out here. But going down hills with a big heavy train is doesn't require the horsepower, but it requires the dynamic braking and fine touch of a good engineer. And this is looking back down towards Mojave. Curves back down around there towards Holt Road. And I spoke to the MOP or whatever his title is in Mojave the other day, and he told me the schedule of this train, so we're safe. They're not going to run a train out here today. So anyway, we will head on up the road. Well, we've driven up here another couple of miles, and we're in the midst of the wind parks now. And as I said a while ago, I didn't think that these parks were tied to those main transmission lines. You can see right over there is a substation, and it actually has its own transmission line leading out of it. It's a relatively small transmission line. As those of you who saw my video on the wind energy that I did on my other channel on Motopoet 59, you'll see that these things don't really put all that much power out, so they don't need big transmission lines. So PG&E doing something over there. They got a bunch of dirt covered up with plastic. Knowing the history of Hinckley, that's kind of scary. Actually, they probably just have the plastic on it to keep the wind from blowing it away while they're doing their excavation. I have no idea what they're doing over there, but I'm sure it's all on the up and up. But knowing that they're spending that kind of money, raising their rates, makes me glad that I got solar on my house. But anyway, again, that is looking back down towards Mojave. I was saying just a minute ago what a significant climb this is. You can really see it from up here. And it doesn't get any, you can see that it climbs on up the hill there. And if I have the opportunity to come out here, and when they're going to run a train, I'd love to get a shot of a train coming up or coming down this. But they don't generally run on weekends or late afternoons. So I'll be hard pressed to get a train doing this. But anyway, if I get the opportunity, I'll certainly share it with you. Well, come up here a little further, and there's this big old nice access road that goes back towards Oak Creek Road. This is probably how I'll leave when I get done here. But anyway, I wanted to give everybody an idea of how massive these wind turbines are. That little staircase there goes to the access hatch, the base of the turbine. It's about, I don't know, it's probably 10 feet off the ground, 8-10 feet, something like that. And then, I don't know, I'm still no, even though I'm standing next to it, I'm no good at judging heights, but you can see how far out these blades, these are giant. I wish it was turning, it'd give you kind of a better idea of its size, but suffice it to say, these are large, and they can be dangerous, especially, I understand, to birds. But anyway, looking out across the park, and then you can see out that way Soledad Mountain, which you can catch a little piece I did on that and the mining industry on my other channel, Motopoet 59. I'll link that in here, or at least the email. If you want to hear me rant. A little further up here, I didn't really expect this, but not that it's a real big deal, but this is a little bridge over the Los Angeles Aqueduct. Now, I was doing some research on the aqueduct because at some point I am going to do a piece on the Los Angeles Aqueduct, and found out that there is the Los Angeles Aqueduct, the second Los Angeles Aqueduct, and the Mono extension. I didn't know that. It's not really something I thought much about. It runs out through Cache Creek, just north of Mojave, where we used to ride our dirt bikes, and up through Jawbone Canyon. And the piece I did on Cantil, you can see the aqueduct running along the mountains above Jawbone Canyon. And I don't know if that's the original aqueduct or the second aqueduct. But anyway, I just thought it was interesting, and this concrete covered so it doesn't get damaged. It is in a pipe under here and protected by concrete and evidently railroad bridges. I'll pull up here a little further and noticed something. Not really this crossing so much. I just thought it was interesting that there's an old beat up crossing out here on a old beat up dirt road. But evidently at some point someone thought there needed to be a crossing here, and this wanders back over towards Oak Creek Road, which is looks to be about a mile or so distant. Still really climbing uphill here. You can see the downhill. Down there is Mojave. way down there. You can see the planes out at the spaceport. The reason I really wanted to stop here is I noticed this big old crane over here from Bragg Crane and Rigging laying on the ground here. I don't know if they are getting ready to build some more machines or if that's just where they keep this until they get ready to build them. Bragg Crane was one of the companies that was involved in the upgrade, the last time they upgraded Cal Portland Cement, which is, you can see parts of it out there. You can see there's a big dome out there to the right, but you can see parts of the plant. But anyway, back in the early 80s when they did the upgrade to that plant, my sister worked for Bragg Crane and Rigging. She worked in their accounting offices out there. So anyway, I don't know, just thought that was a nice little clip to my past. Come out here a little further. Still climbing. A curve up there. Another curve there. And a curve oiler. Don't see curve oilers on branch lines much, but I guess where there are curves, they need curve oilers. One of the things that really caught my attention about all this is this big solar array here. Pretty good sized solar array. I don't know if this is for the grid or if this is for Cal Portland, but I think it's kind of cool. Solar array right in the middle of all the wind turbines. A lot of alternative energy out here. Again, if you want to go to Motorpoet 59, you can see my opinion on alternate energy, clean energy, whatever you want to call it. Onward and upward. Come up here a little further and notice that the Joshua trees have bloomed and are now in the process of sprouting new goodies. I don't know a lot about Joshua trees. I don't know how often they bloom. I don't think it's that rare for them to actually bloom. They probably do it every year. All I really know about them is if you bump into one, it hurts. It hurts really bad, and the area will get swollen up, and I've hit my legs on them a few times riding dirt bikes out here. As far as the Joshua tree goes, they only grow in very specific climates. They grow in a few places around the world. I know I've seen them in Arizona, but I'm not sure what other parts of the world they actually grow in. I just know that the climate has to be very specific elevations and rainfalls and freezes. And anyway, Joshua tree, plural, because there are many of them out here along the Creal Branch. Well, I've come to a wash with a trestle over it. It's a pretty significant little trestle, 10 or 12 feet tall. But as you can see there, we're finally at the top of the hill. See there, that's starting to come, we're looking back towards Mojave, obviously, and the grade is uphill slightly from here and downhill to the marshalling yard down there in Cal Portland. You can see they have cars stored all the way back there to between that second and third wind turbine, all the way up into the plant. And it is a significant plant. It is quite large. I know virtually nothing about the Cal Portland company. My stepdad worked there as an electrician in the late 70s and early 80s before he started his own business. I'm not going to go in there today. I don't feel like trying to figure out a way to get across this wash. Oh, there's a road right there, but it's on the other side of the tracks, and I'm not going to drive over there. But anyway, at some point, I'm going to go into Cal Portland and talk to them about giving me a tour. I'd like to do the same thing in Monolith. Find these kind of places fascinating, how everything gets mined. The quarry is part of it is back up there, and some more of it is over there. But anyway, that is the terminus of the Creal Branch. And perhaps when I go in there and talk to somebody, maybe they'll know what Creal stands for. But anyway, there is the end of the Creal, the Oak Creek Industrial Lead. Well, when I finished shooting the Creal, I was leaving and found this on the way out. This is the end of one of their storage tracks. I'm sure this is the most significant one, but probably at least a half mile, 3/4 of a mile from the plant. And I had no idea this was out here, but by golly, I have an idea now, and so do you. Pretty significant switching area for this plant. Well, I thought I'd stop here real quick at the entrance to the Cal Portland cement plant. You got these two big old shovels, used to work up in their quarries, and they're at the intersection of the Cement Plant Road and Oak Creek Road. Well, that'll wrap up the little tour of the Oak Creek Industrial Lead, the Creal Branch. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I didn't rattle on too much about things that didn't have anything to do with the branch line itself, but I am easily distracted, and I enjoy sharing the things I see and what I think about it. But anyway, as always, if you have any ideas, leave them in the comments below or shoot me an email, motopoet59@gmail.com. I'll put that in the description below, and we will see you the next time around.